I wasn't planning to buy an old phone. Honestly, I just went to the flea market to browse some old electronics. I've always liked things with a past, as if you could hear faint echoes of previous lives if you listen closely. It was lying apart in an unmarked box. Metal body, scratched screen, a thin crack across the glass. The seller said it was fully functional, just old, nobody needs it anymore. I paid without even asking who had owned it before. At home, I turned it on. The screen lit up with a familiar logo, and in its memory there was only one folder, video. Inside, a single file. Don't open.mp4. I smirked. Obviously, some joke. But somewhere deep inside, I felt a chill, a pulse that ran down my fingers holding the device. I didn't open the file. Not yet. I just left the phone on the table. But all evening, I caught myself glancing at the dark screen, as if it was about to blink. The night was quiet. And yet, I thought I heard a soft click from the kitchen, like S. The next day, I couldn't resist. Curiosity won. I sat down, turned on the phone, and hit play. At first, just static and hissing. Then, an image, shaking violently as if the cameraman was running. A man's voice breathing heavily. He was moving through a dark apartment, recording with the front camera. The flashlight beam jumped across walls, caught in mirrors, in the window, something flickered. For a brief moment, the camera froze. In the reflection of the window, a tall silhouette. Too tall. Its head almost touched the ceiling. The man whispered, "It's inside." Then the image trembled, a dull thud followed, and the screen went black. I leaned back in my chair. My heart was pounding. The video was only 47 seconds long, but it felt like an hour. And yet, there was something too real about it. I paused and rewound. In the window, at that exact moment, the shadow truly moved. Not a reflection. When I stopped the video, the phone screen flickered. For a second, just darkness. Then, a notification. "Do you see it too?" I froze. No signal, no SIM card, and yet, the message appeared. A second later, another. "Don't look at the window." I placed the phone face down, but it lit up again. A buzz, a faint beep, a flash of light. The screen turned reflective, and in its black glass I saw my own face and something behind me, in the corner of the room. Where the coat rack had been, something else stood now. A shadow, long, stretched, almost melting into the wall. The phone vibrated again. A message with no text. Only an attachment, a new video. Title, Watch.mp4. I couldn't bring myself to open the new file for a long time. The phone lay on the table, almost alive, its screen dimming and flickering for a split second, like it was breathing. I closed the curtains and turned off the lights. At night, things like this feel safer, as if fear becomes part of the darkness, not something separate from it. When I finally hit play, the sound was distorted, as if someone had chewed through the wires. The image shook violently. I recognized the same apartment from the first video, but now the camera was filming from inside, the bedroom. A man sat on the bed. His face buried in his hands. He was whispering, broken, guttural words I couldn't make out. Then he lifted his head. His eyes, open, but without pupils. He stared straight into the camera. And then, straight at me. The video cut out, and the phone displayed a new message. "Now you see." I felt the air around me grow heavier, as if the room had started breathing with me. Night. I woke up to a sound. Not loud, more like someone walking barefoot across the floor. I got up. The hallway was dark. Only the phone glowed faintly, though I hadn't touched it. On the screen, the player again. The video was playing by itself. I stepped closer. The frame showed my room. Exactly as it was right now. My desk, my chair, even the shadow on the wall matched perfectly. Except, someone was standing in the corner. A faint motion, barely visible. The shadow swayed, like smoke. I blinked, and it was gone. But the phone kept recording. It wasn't connected to the internet. The camera shouldn't even be on. Yet the screen showed a live feed, as if someone was behind me, filming. Then came the rustling again. Closer. And a whisper from the dark. Don't turn it off. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the notification sound. The phone lay next to me on the nightstand, turned off, with no SIM card, yet messages still came. Same sender every time, him. The texts were fragments, as if someone typed, erased, and typed again. He's behind you. Look at the screen, don't look at the window. I broke. I turned on the camera. Sat down in front of the mirror. Recorded a short clip to prove to myself that it was just exhaustion. But when I hit play, there was a figure behind my shoulder. Blurred. Faceless. It moved slightly faster than me. And when I turned around, nothing. Only in the phone's reflection, it was still there. Sometimes I notice the phone screen turns on by itself. No sound, no notifications, just glowing softly in the dark. One time I looked and realized it was the camera. Not the front one, but the main one. It was filming the mirror. But in the reflection, I wasn't moving quite the same way. My reflection lagged, just a fraction of a second behind, like the video had a delay. I lifted my hand, and it lifted slightly later. Then, it smiled. I wasn't smiling. I threw the phone onto the bed, but it kept recording. The reflection took a step forward, beyond the edge of the screen. The room seemed darker, thicker, the air turned heavy like smoke. I pulled out the battery. But the screen stayed lit. In the morning, someone knocked on my door. On the threshold stood my neighbor, an old woman from the first floor. She said she'd been hearing footsteps in my apartment at night. I wanted to tell her I lived alone, but the words stuck in my throat. She looked at me strangely, as if looking through me. "You've started to look like him," she said. "Like who?" I asked. "The one who used to live here." When I closed the door, my hands were shaking. I went online and looked up my address. The result was brief. A man found dead 1 year ago. The same model of phone listed among his personal belongings. I looked down at the device in my hand. The screen was on again. Through the camera lens, I didn't see my own face, but the face from the first video. No pupils. I decided to get rid of the phone. I went to the river, picked a spot where the current was strong. The metal felt cold, like something inside was breathing. I threw it in. The water closed over it, and for a moment I thought the screen flashed beneath the surface. Back home, I felt lighter, like after a long sickness. That night, I slept for the first time in a week. In the morning, it was on my nightstand. Dry. Intact. On the screen, a recording. 0 hours 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I pressed play. In the frame, I was standing by the river, throwing the phone. Then the camera slowly turned, and showed me walking home. Filmed from behind. As if someone had been following. I tried to get rid of the phone again. Not by water, not by fire this time. I buried it in the yard, under an old birch tree, deep enough never to find it again. Then I went home and washed my hands, as if cleaning off something rotten. That night, I woke up to the sound of vibration. At first, I thought it was a dream. But the sound came from under the bed. I knelt down, and there it was. The phone. Dirty, cracked, the screen pulsing like a heartbeat. I picked it up, it was warm. A video played on its own. Recording.mp4. I hit play. The frame showed soil, a dug-up hole, my own hands burying the phone. Then the camera tilted upward and showed me, standing beside the hole. But I was holding the phone in my hands. Since then, I haven't slept. Sometimes I turn on the camera just to make sure the room is empty. But in the recordings, I'm not alone. Behind me, a silhouette. Tall, blurred, like smoke. It doesn't move. just watches. Sometimes I think it's me. But then, why does it move when I stand still? Yesterday, a new file appeared on the phone. No name. Just a date, today's. When I opened it, it wasn't a recording. It was a live feed. I was standing by the window, looking into the camera. And outside the glass, someone was filming me. The focus trembled, the image pixelated, but I could see the eyes. My own. I don't know what day it is anymore. The phone won't charge, yet the screen stays lit. It shows the camera view. And in the frame, me. I see myself sleeping, waking, sleeping again. The recording never stops. No end. When I try to exit the camera mode, nothing happens. The image only gets closer. As if someone is bringing the phone closer to my face. Now I hear rustling. It's getting nearer. The screen vibrates, the picture shakes. I stare into the lens and see it approaching. First the shape, then the face. My face. The recording cuts off.